Hey there, ghouls and ghosts. Welcome to Seven Scorpion Tarot. I am your host with the most, and I want to welcome you to today's reading. Today, we're going to do a reading for Pluto stationing direct. Um, Yesterday, I had mentioned on the 1010 reading over on TikTok about the analogy for 1010 standing for a power symbol that you would see on like an electronic device where it's got the circle with the dash in the middle indicating a closed or an open circuit. Um, and in that reading, it ended up going the direction of a closed circuit or bringing something online. So, with Pluto stationing direct in Capricorn for the last time in our lives, I'd like to see or do a reading for the open circuit. So, what's going to be coming offline for potentially the last time in our own personal lives. Um, so, we'll play around with it a little bit. I think I'll start with a significator, and then I think we'll do shadow and ego, do the self down the middle, and go from there and see what Pluto and direct in Capricorn, moving slowly but surely into Aquarius for the rest of our lives. So let's get started with the tarot. Pluto is the Roman name for Hades. Um, Big theme right now with being at the beginning of fall and Persephone, going back down to the underworld, Demeter beginning her period of mourning until spring. So very, very symbolic for this to be happening during the fall time. So maybe there's some consideration for your respective, what's the word? Psychopomp? Psychopomp, yeah. Sharon, the ferryman on the River Styx that would shepherd the souls of the dead um, into the afterlife. So, who are your guides? Maybe literal, maybe figurative. Who has helped you in the past in difficult times? So, Ten of Wands. It's a tough significator to start out, but this reading is for what we're taking offline for hopefully the rest of our lives. Might be a little unrealistic to think that we won't ever go through serious strife again, but maybe we don't need to walk into Mordor. You know, maybe there are other paths than that, or be stranded out on Tatooine, since I don't know what the resolution is like on here, but there are 2 moons back here. I mean, if I could leave the heavy burden of the 10 of Wands behind me indefinitely, I would. Or would I, actually? I don't know, because then I'd be done um, with a really big source of growth. It's interesting. Let's see what's at the root of the 10. And 10. 10, 10, 10. Interesting. It's a nice little progression there. Ooh. Oh, okay. Five of Wands, conflict. They're at the root. Um, yeah, that can certainly leave us in strife. Um, because these are wands. They're gonna smart, but I'm not gonna lop your head off with one of them. Um, but they can certainly leave a mark, no doubt. And I can absolutely see this as the, like, was I right in engaging in this conflict? Um, was I right to, I don't know, even stand for my position so fervently? I know I struggle with that. Like, am I right? But am I right enough? Like, if something's bothering you, then you're right enough that you don't need any um, further scrutiny beyond that. Um, but conflict can absolutely be leaving you like this, weight of the world on your shoulders. So let's see how that affects our shadow over here, or maybe the parts of our shadow that come out in conflict. Okay, star in reverse. Huh. So in the Rider Waite, which is this deck here, um, she has 1 foot on water, 1 foot on land, I believe, and pouring 1 cup into the water, 1 cup into um, or onto the land. So maybe out of balance with your authentic self. Um, any Aquarians out there? Uh, that's the zodiac association to this. Um, so any of your shadow aspects might be amplified in this position if that wherever that happens to fall in your chart, um, or maybe this is us hiding the authentic self. um, are we afraid to shine our light out of fear of conflict? It's happened to me. I know I've silenced my own voice, um, sometimes in the interest of ease, because I don't have it in me to get into it with people sometimes. But that is just creating conflict with yourself. You're just kicking the can down the road. Like, it might help in the moment, but um, and you can always, as opposed to indefinitely, you know, leaving that conflict with yourself, you just take a break from the conflict. Like, I don't have the capacity to engage in this right now. Um, when can we reschedule? Because I can't always deal with people. And it's not, even though that necessity is valid to be able to walk away, um, those things still need to be revisited because your voice deserves to be heard. So, putting yourself last, take that offline. Let that die with Pluto stationing direct. Send that on down the Styx. Ooh, interesting. I hope the camera caught that. Because it came out and then it flipped upright. So maybe that's in the message that once you stop putting yourself last, um, then the energy that was blocked moves into the upright. And Three of Cups is absolutely an energy that you want in upright. Um, Celebration. It's they're your people. Um, and this would be like the people I want having my back in a conflict in this. Um, and having my back without agenda. I think that's really, really important. That they're on my side because that's where they want to be, not because of something I can do for them, something they can get from me. Um, it somehow maintains some sort of, I don't know, image, like family image. Um, Maintains the perception of the holiday, the family holiday picture, that everybody sees the snapshot, but nobody sees the arguments and the tears behind the camera that was leading up to that. Um, that I think so many of us have memories like that where we have these pretty pictures up in a frame, but we know what was going on behind that. And that could very much block our essence, or show us, demonstrate to us that being inauthentic, um, is not only okay but expected, because you have to make that picture look good, right? Disagree wholeheartedly. Um, Conflict is authentic. Let's see. Uh, One more on the left, maybe. Yes, yes. Seven of Swords in reverse. So very, very protected. So there's a lot of shadow here. Um, that this conflict, this burden, is burying the true self. Um, it's really hard to dig out from that rubble. I know that all too well. Um, and it's so worth it. So worth it. I don't want to discourage anybody from that journey. It's difficult, but worth it. Um, I highly recommend a trusted therapist. Um, Shop around as needed. One of the most difficult things for me in finding the right one was the availability of a female therapist. Because I, like many people, started therapy regularly as an adult during the pandemic. Um, and the only people that were available were men. So I still signed up. Like, men can absolutely be wonderful therapists. But for my individual needs, I need a female. And it wasn't until I got connected with a female therapist that I really was able to dig deep into these shadow aspects, um, that I can't get to with men. It's just, the nature of the beast. So, big advocate for therapy. If you can't afford it, your employer may have an employee assistance program. They're called EAP, Echo Alpha Papa, sometimes. Um, that is how I got started on that path. Totally recommend. But over here on the right, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So it's the hard work. I really like how the right side is coming out here. Um, interesting, especially under that guise of Pluto direct, because leaving these things in the past, the conflict, the things that um, made you protect yourself so fervently, um, like she is here with the Seven of Swords. She's protecting um, documents and whatnot in a vault. Um, but over on the right, celebration, an artist, um, and seeing the hard work of creativity. And there's a lot of shadow work that comes through in creativity. You can really discover a lot about yourself um, through poems, through drawing, um, even through coloring. I like mandala coloring books. Those are a lot of fun. Toss on an album and just get to coloring. You can actually dredge up a lot of deep emotions that way. I like seeing how the colors kind of materialize. They might be a little bit darker if I'm in a worse mood, or a little bit brighter, so on and so forth. Um, but the Eight of Pentacles is the artisan. Um, so maybe Capricorn, moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius, we're finding some balance, um, using those practical qualities of Capricorn to raise our determination, um, and keep trudging forward, keep trudging up that mountain to unblock this energy that's over here in the shadow, that really, for I think, to have the best art you could possibly produce, you got to get in touch with that painful stuff. Not just for you, but for the rest of us too, because I want to see what kind of art you can produce. And so let's get some archetypes on either side to assist us through this journey here, because we've got about a month ish until uh, we're into Aquarius, till Pluto's into Aquarius. So let's go left side, left side. I just love her facial expression, because it changes that traditional meaning of the Seven of Swords for me so much. Because it's the card of deception, and in the Rider Waite deck here, it's like sneaky deception. Um, and this is more like worried deception. Like she's defending something. Wonder what's in those documents. Maybe she stole. Maybe she's an art thief. I love the artwork of this deck too. That is many. So I'm just gonna take that one. We'll get one on the right. So I don't know this card as well. So 19, the animal. Really cool picture though. Looks like some braided wheat, maybe. So potentially another reference to Demeter. Um, as she discovered that Persephone had been kidnapped and was in the underworld, and had eaten of the fruit, had eaten the pomegranate. Um, she raised the earth with famine, um, when she discovered that her daughter was not on the earthly plane. Um, Interesting. So a lot of sorrow there in the shadow. It's got a blue eye. Looks like a canine eye, potentially. I don't know what those little flowers are. Those irises? The book might say. We'll see. But the animal, so the primal self, um, very shadow, very collective unconscious. So maybe that's who you revert to in conflict, is the primal self. Um, I know that's something I struggle with, very literally, living with PTSD. Um, that how quickly I can go, like if we're arguing at like a 3 or a 4, I'll go up to an 8, because I get triggered, and it's involuntary. Um, and the best thing for me to do in that situation is to walk away, because that's in everybody's best interest, because I can't handle things constructively in those moments. um, and it's no fault to me. It's just the nature of what I live with, and it's just important to, I think, to recognize, um, just the reality of the things we deal with every day. um, and you don't owe people an explanation. I think explanations are important for yourself, and if you choose to offer them to the people in your life, I think that is a gracious gift. Um, the thing that I've been working on over the years is if they have space to hear, um, that explanation. If they have the the mental space for it, really. I was trying to think of a different word, but I think that'll do. So the nectar on the right side, the good stuff. Um, I think it's nectar in Spanish. It's one of those, like, so glad those high school Spanish lessons paid off. Oh, pardon me. Um, I love the colors here. And so it's a hand reaching towards the rose and the jewels. At least I'm interpreting that as, it looks kind of like a pearl necklace, um, and an iris here on the left. So maybe we got double iris, depending on, um, what these flowers actually are. But the eye and the eye for sure, and flower and flower. So there's a lot reflected here. And fall to spring. This is a lot more spring-like. So maybe there's some timing reflected in this. Um, that right now, as we're in Pluto land, um, these are the things that you might be working through, and these might be the things you're working towards. Over here on the ego side, the persona side, the external world. So let's go to the book for these two. Um, let's see. So 19 I can't remember what L is. The animal. The beast, the wild one, the she-wolf. We are mammals. The hair on our chest and between our legs reminds us so. We try hard to deny our unrefined, animalistic nature, yet through this archetype, we tap into power and direction. Activating the animal within means reawakening our relationship to nature in the most broad and embodied sense. Drinking from waterfalls, roaring at the moon, opening eyes underwater, eating berries from the vine. The life force of our planet begs us to set down the devices, the constraints, and the social constructs and remember the warm blood that pulses through our veins. The animal longs for breath, food, procreation, and physicality. It wants soil under our nails and starlight on our skin. If all this sounds terribly unsophisticated to you, take note that it is said that when Buddha became enlightened, he roared like a great lion. So when light, the qualities are vital, elemental, alive, dances. When dark, savagery, pent up, emotion, lashing out. Go deeper. Uh, the author says listen to the audio recording of Mary Oliver reading Wild Geese. Repeat every morning for 1 week. That is a lovely poem. I really, really enjoy it. Yeah, that was a really good one. It was recommended to me by my EAP counselor, and I used to have a copy of it uh, taped up near my desk. I wonder what happened to that. Maybe I'll have to revitalize that or get a new copy or something. Um, but one of these things gave me pause. Drinking from waterfalls. I must exercise or advise to exercise caution with that. Please sanitize your water if you're going to do that because Giardia is a thing. Um, I just, we're people, living in a modern world. Don't make yourself sick. Just be wise. But the physicality, getting out there, maybe going for a hike, um, dancing, I think would be a great way to embody this. Um, and yeah, she said dances. So wind light. So that would be a great way to, get your blood moving. Um, yeah, it's good stuff. So the nectar. So close. I can feel it. Here we go. The nectar. The medicine, the elixir, the garden. In Hindu mythology, there is a miraculous substance known as amrit, or nectar, that contains infinite healing power. This golden nectar, or sacred elixir, is the drink of immortality, and like its sister substance, soma, is known to activate subtle, intelligent forces that ease the mind, body, and spirit. Through though esoteric, these images lead us to the central energy of this archetype, the sweet, potent, heavenly essence that lubricates our spirit back to life. The Nectar card calls us to identify and relish in places, practices, people, and re- activities that regenerate and heal. Medicine is needed, and it comes in subtle form that you may be overlooking. Seek the most sensuous, fragrant flower in the garden that you have forgotten. Don't underestimate this remedy. It is said when someone has activated this substance within, it is reflected in their shimmering eyes. So, when light, the qualities are glowing, relaxed, subtle illumination. When dark, fixation on fixing, aggressive approach to healing. Go deeper, The Wind, One Brilliant Day by Antonio Machado. So I'm reading this as this is that something special that the artist has. Um, this is something you've healed, and that reflects in art. Um, I think I don't know quite how to put it to words, but when you see an artist, a creative, a writer, whomever, somebody who's gone to the great depths of pain and then turn that pain into a craft and shared it with the world, um, that vulnerability is palpable. You can taste part of their soul. Um, it is something that you can't replicate. It's something that you can't fake. And when people have it, you just know. Um, and I imagine that's kind of where she was going when she made this card. Just imagine looking into eyes that look like this color, like the color of a western sunset. Um, Man, that would be captivating. Um, but let's take a rune. Let's see what the Nordic gods have to say, um, in conjunction with the Greeks. Let's see. Well, it came out sideways, so maybe this is in motion. Fehu, I think. Pretty sure. For those of you who don't know, I am a book person. I am old school like that. Love my reference materials. Hi, kitten. Meow. Yes. Fehu. So, sideways, um, I'm going to read this like I read tarot cards that come out sideways, that it's in motion. So we're not quite sure if it's falling upright or reversed. It's could go either way. Um, so Fehu translates to cattle, wealth, or money. So wealth, prosperity, abundance, reward, good health, and beginnings. Um, the let's see. So in its upright, think of it like movable wealth. Um, I think that would be liquid assets. I think that's what that means. This might be literal since it references cattle, um, but so not property is what I would go with. Um, Things you can travel with, um, plentiful food, well being, love, um, cash. So maybe are you transitioning careers, maybe roles in your place of business? In Do you have a side hustle you're starting, giving up, expanding, doing a Kickstarter, something like that? Um, Now, Fehu reversed, um, is the loss of wealth, the the loss of self-esteem. Um, so maybe you're on some sort of, or coming up on some sort of choice point about what conflict within the self is going to be determining the position of this. Is it moving you towards wealth? Moving you towards this upright? Towards whatever will bring you to your artisanship? Or are you staying in the past? Have you not learned the lessons of Capricorn yet? Um, that might be restraining you from wealth? Are you potentially being overly practical and not creative enough? Being too rigid in your approach to things. I've done that for sure. So we'll get some zodiac die as well, and then we'll get you a self-care surprise. Seems like there's a lot going on with kind of everybody and Pluto. Um, in such a big move in a generational planet like that, kind of makes sense. And in close proximity to eclipse season, I know I've been feeling the celestial weather in recent months, weeks, whatever. That's Scorpio. Looks like it. Looks like Scorpio. So double death. Um, yeah, it's an interesting role. The sign of death for the planet of death. So something to think about. Now um, my Pluto placement is in Scorpio. Um, so that might be some further reading for anybody out there. Your own Scorpio placements. First house, um, which should be Aries. Um, so determination. I put it on the shadow side, so maybe some aggression. Um, is there some of those Aries qualities that are contributing to conflict and heavy burdens that maybe need to be left in the past, sent down the Styx? And that looks like Mercury. What's Mercury up to? Um, I think last I saw was conjunct Juno. Might be different now. I'm not sure entirely. But Mercury, Roman name for Hermes, the messenger. So the messenger is on the right side. Do you have a message of celebration coming your way? Or something to do with the nectar? I'm trying to make this connection here. Something that could inspire your artisanship. Because it doesn't need to be a literal message from the outside. It could be a message from your inner self. Maybe a dream, or just an idea for a painting that just inspiration strikes, and then you're tasked with putting in the work to bring that to fruition, to bring your vision to life, um, so that we can all see it with our own eyeballs. So let's get you a self care surprise, and then I'll send you on your way. So these are little handwritten cards that I've made, um, with songs and activities. There are a lot more songs than activities in here. Say my primary modality for self care is music. Music, music, music all day, every day. Is unusual for my home to be silent. There's generally at least something ambient going on. So tonight's is Alkaline by Sleep Token. Excellent song. I can't recommend Sleep Token enough. I love that first opening verse. Oh, I'm trying to think of the words exactly. There's a line in there where he says, "It's too late for me now. I am altered." That line always just stuck out to me. Um, yeah, because there's so much that goes on beneath the surface, um, that other people have no idea, looking from the outside in, what's really going on, how heavy those burdens are that you're carrying, that can easily lead to conflict and then throw you into the shadow side, make you feel unseen, defensive, um, and can get in the way of these connections and your artisanship. But I think there is yet hope for all of us if we commit to our true selves first and putting the pursuit of that first. Of course, there's these things we have to maintain, you know, gotta got bills to pay, got things to do, chores to be done, yada yada yada. But don't lose that which makes you so special, because we all need that too. Because there may be an awesome song lurking somewhere inside of you that I need for my self care surprise cards. So, um, keep it up, keep it going. I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.